Hey, what's going on? Jeff Ratcliffe here. It's fantasy draft season. We're in the mix right now. And one of the questions, surprisingly, but I get asked this a lot, when do I draft my team defense, Jeff? And you know, you look at this year, the Jacksonville Jaguars, everybody has, my grandmother has them as her #1 fantasy defense this year. No surprise, right? But if you want to draft the Jaguars, you're gonna have to pay a premium price. In 12-team leagues, 12-teamers, I've seen the Jaguars go as early as the 6th or 7th round. I know that's crazy. And honestly, you really don't need the Jaguars to win your fantasy league this year. Trust me, you don't. I know some of you might be disagreeing with me, but you really don't. Why? Because, well, first and foremost, defensive points are heavily skewed towards touchdowns in fantasy scoring. So that means we're going to see a lot of variance. It's so hard to predict defensive touchdowns and special team touchdowns. They vary so greatly from year to year. And that means that the #1 fantasy defense on draft day almost never finishes as the #1 fantasy defense for the season. Let's go back to last year. Everybody was high on Denver. Denver had obviously the duo at quarterback, the elite duo there. They have Von Miller. There's so much firepower on that defense, and they were one of the top fantasy defenses for a number of years. So they were the first defense picked roughly in about the 9th round of a 12-team league. They finished outside the top 10. Jacksonville obviously was the breakout defense of the year. They were drafted in the 15th round on average in fantasy drafts in 12-team leagues, right? So in other words, you're gonna see that churning, that fluctuation from year to year. I don't see the need to draft the top defense then. If I'm going to have a very low success rate at doing something, I'm not going to continue to do whatever that something is, right? So drafting a defense early, it just doesn't make sense. I would rather load up at wide receiver and at running back, and even, you know, you're targeting tight ends in that range. You're talking 6th and 7th round. You're getting into the range where you may draft quarterback. And of course, if you want to know where I'm drafting all those guys, check out the videos on the channel in terms of draft strategy. But I'm not drafting a team defense in that range. So where am I drafting a team defense? Last 2 rounds. Could be the last round, could be the second to last round. Honestly, doesn't matter to me, but right in that range is where I'm looking at it. So what can we do there? We can do really one of 2 things. We can look for the next Jaguars defense. Who is the next team to break out in this range? And maybe it is the Chargers, right? The Chargers have a lot of firepower. The edge rush with Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram. They obviously have talent at the cornerback position. Despite losing Jason Verrett, they still have so much talent there. Casey Hayward. This is a team that could jump to that next level. They were a strong fantasy defense last year already. You could look for, you know, maybe even a little bit deeper for a team that could break out, like the Chicago Bears. Very good on the defensive side of the ball. We saw last year massive upside in terms of touchdown production from the fantasy defense. And you'll be able to get very likely the Chargers in one of the last rounds, and you can get the Bears in the last round of your fantasy drafts. No doubt about it, unless you're in Chicago. Shout out to all the Chicago viewers here. But the other option, so you could try and find the next Jaguars. That's gonna be tough. The other option, and this is the option I like to do, is I love to stream at team defense. Now, if you've never heard that term before, essentially it means you're gonna go into the season with a defense with a good matchup in week 1, or maybe week 1, week 2, week 3, whatever you can find, and then knowing you're gonna drop them and move on. Now, sometimes you can enter a season streaming and get yourself a very good defense right from the bat, and you never have to drop that defense. But other times you do, and every week you're working the waiver wire, trying to play the matchups. It takes a little bit more work, but honestly, the thing that is different about team defense than any other position in fantasy, you could be the worst defense in the NFL and be one of the top fantasy defenses for any given week. If you're the worst quarterback in the NFL, you're not going to be the top fantasy option at the position any week, right? So it's different in that regard. Even bad fantasy defenses can take advantage of good matchups. So streaming is an advantage. All right, so let's go down the calendar. Let's look to week 1. Let's see who has the good matchups. And by the way, this year, sorry Bills fans, but whoever's playing Buffalo, I'm going to be targeting. That means in week 1, it's the Ravens. The Ravens are a good defense, good fantasy defense from last year, so there's a chance they may be off the board already. If you don't get them in the 15th round, That's fine. There are other options. I'm targeting teams playing the Jets as well. Sorry, Jets fans. The Lions in week 1. I don't want the Lions for the whole season, but the Lions are interesting in week 1 against the Jets. We don't know exactly who's going to be under center, but it could be Darnold, a rookie. It could be Josh McCown, a veteran. Regardless, I still like the matchup. Finally, how about Miami? Ryan Tannehill will be back, but I'm still going to target Miami at least early in the season. So that means week 1, the Tennessee Titans. So you don't have to draft a premium defense. You don't have to draft the Jaguars. In fact, I recommend don't draft the Jaguars this year because you're overpaying for them. Instead, look to maybe try and identify the next Jaguars, Chargers, or even a deeper team like the Bears, or better yet, go into the season knowing you're streaming. I'm targeting the Ravens first and foremost. Love that matchup. Lions, Titans. Easy game, right? We'll have recommendations for you every week at ProFootballFocus.com in terms of who to stream, but I want to hear from you. What fantasy defense are you targeting this year? Give us a comment below. Let us know who you're looking at there at Fantasy Defense. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more fantasy videos. And go check out all of the content, fantasy tools, draft advice at ProFootballFocus.com.